Right now, all over the world, there's this quiet revolution happening inside our factories. I mean, machines are literally starting to talk to each other. And what they're saying? Well, it's creating billions of dollars. This is the industrial Internet of Things. And today we're going to break down exactly how it works and, more importantly, why you should care.
So let's just start with a simple question. What if every single machine could talk? Think about it. Every pump, every motor, every robot on an assembly line. What would they tell us? What secrets could they reveal? This sounds like something out of science fiction, right? But it's not. It's the real idea at the very heart of the industrial Internet of Things.
Okay, so what is the Internet of Things anyway? At its core, it's pretty simple. It's all about making everyday objects smart. We're talking everything from your toaster at home to a massive industrial turbine. Basically, it's a giant network of physical things that have sensors and software built right in, letting them connect, grab data, and share it over the internet. A lot of the time with zero human help.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with what the IoT actually is. Then we'll dive into the IoT value cycle. After that, we'll talk about Industry 4.0, see the IoT in a real factory setting, and finally, we'll look at what's next. Let's get into it.
All right, first up, what is the IoT? We're going from a concept to billions and billions of connections.
I want you to just think about this number for a second. 50 billion. That's how many connected devices were estimated to be out there by 2020. That's, nearly 7 devices for every single person on the planet? In fact, we hit a crazy milestone way back in 2010 when the number of things on the internet actually surpassed the number of people. We are talking about a truly staggering scale here.
Okay, so billions of devices are all talking to each other. Big deal, right? How does that actually create value? See, it's not just about connecting stuff. The magic is in what you do with all that information. And that brings us to the IoT value cycle, which is all about turning those connections into real, actionable insights.
So how do you go from a connected device to something that actually helps a human being? It's all about this process, this cycle. You can see it's a loop, right? It kicks off with a device getting connected, then it senses data, communicates it, analyzes it, and at the very end, it creates what this calls human value. Let's walk through exactly what that means.
Okay, so here's how it works. Step 1, you've got devices and sensors out in the real world, just collecting data. Step 2, that data gets sent out over a network. Then for step 3, you have powerful analytics. We're talking AI here, that just churns through all that data looking for patterns. And once it finds something interesting, that's step 4, where those patterns become insights you can actually act on. Finally, that action creates a real benefit, human value. This could be something as concrete as stopping a machine from breaking down or as huge as making a whole supply chain run smoother.
Now, what happens when you take this whole value cycle and apply it directly to the world of manufacturing? Well, you get something pretty special. You enter a whole new era, what people are calling Industry 4.0. You can think of it as the fourth industrial revolution, and its main goal is the rise of the smart factory. Right, so this is where we get a little more specific. The Industrial Internet of Things, or IoT for short, is really just a subcategory of the bigger IoT. It's the version that's purpose-built for industrial settings. It's the absolute key, the foundational tech that connects all the machines, people, and data you need to make that dream of a smart, automated factory actually happen.
And let's be clear, companies aren't just jumping on this bandwagon because it's the cool new thing. No way. There are massive global trends that are basically forcing their hand. You've got globalization, technology that changes in the blink of an eye, and customers who want everything customized yesterday. All of this means factories have to be way more agile and efficient than ever before, just to keep up, let alone get ahead.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now we get to the really fun part. Let's get out of the world of theory and onto the factory floor. What does this stuff actually do? How are real companies using it to solve real-world problems? Let's take a look.
This image really gives you a great sense of what a modern connected factory looks like. See, over on the left, you have the plant itself, the robots, the workers, the machines. But the key thing to notice is that the data doesn't just stay put, it flows. It flows outward, giving you insights for managing facilities all over the globe, for fine-tuning your machinery and logistics. It even flows all the way to the customer. It's literally connecting every single piece of the puzzle.
Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest game changers, predictive maintenance. In the old days, you basically just waited for a critical machine to break down. And when it did, boom, your whole production line could grind to a halt for hours, maybe even days. But now,
Sensors are monitoring the machine's health 24/7. They're tracking tiny changes in vibration, in temperature, and noise, and an AI can look at that data and predict a failure before it happens. The benefit here is huge. You get to fix the problem on your schedule, not in a panic, and that saves an incredible amount of time and money.
Here's another huge one: supply chains and inventory. Imagine having sensors that let you track all your materials in real time. We're talking complete visibility, from the moment it leaves your supplier to the factory floor, and all the way until it gets to your customer. What does that mean? It means no more guessing games. You know exactly what you have and where it is. So you can slash your inventory costs, stop worrying about shortages, and just make the whole supply chain work so much better. And look, it's not just about efficiency and saving money. This tech also has a very human side. For worker safety, you've got wearable devices that can monitor someone's health or their location in a dangerous area. If something goes wrong, an alert goes out instantly. Then you've got quality control. IoT cameras and sensors can inspect products with, honestly, superhuman precision. They can spot tiny little defects that even the most trained human eye might miss.
So when you step back and look at all these applications together, from predictive maintenance to plant safety, you start to see a really clear pattern. The core function is always the same. Use sensors to grab real-time data. And the business value? It always points toward driving efficiency. We're talking about reducing downtime, cutting out waste, making things safer, all of which leads to saving money and ultimately making a better product.
So, we've covered what the IIoT is and what it's already doing today, which is pretty amazing, but believe me, this story is far from over. So let's wrap things up by taking a quick look at where all this is going and what the biggest takeaways are.
Okay, one of the coolest trends on the horizon is something called the digital twin. Just imagine this. You create a perfect virtual replica of a real-world machine, or even an entire factory, living inside a computer. This isn't just a static 3D model. It's a living, breathing copy that gets fed real-time data from the actual IoT sensors on its physical counterpart. Why is that so powerful? Well, it means engineers can run simulations, test out changes, and find the perfect way to optimize performance all in the virtual world before they ever have to touch the real thing. It's an incredible way to reduce risk and save a ton of money.
So, let's bring it all home. What's the big takeaway here? The industrial Internet of Things is, without a doubt, a transformative force. This isn't just a simple upgrade, it's a fundamentally new way of doing business. Yes, it boosts efficiency, cuts costs, and makes workplaces safer, but the really big deal is that it empowers companies to make smarter, data-driven decisions and even invent entirely new business models we haven't even thought of yet.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. We've seen how IoT is making our factories smarter and incredibly efficient. But the basic principles here, sensing data, connecting devices, analyzing the results, those aren't limited to factories. They can be applied anywhere. So as our factories become truly intelligent, what part of our world is going to get connected next?